where information can be scattered around several systems, managed by different people who may or may not have a tool, who may do that in an Excel file, or several business units doing their own stuff and not connected to each other. We have all this understanding, so you need to understand that as well. You have to build this map at some point and decide, are we really interested to build links and connections from this source of data? Is this source of data accurate enough for me to take in account so it provides reliable information in my CMDB? Also, the tool doesn't replace the process. If the tool is working with no process, no one to look after it, forget it. It won't work. The source, again, we have a data owner attached to each of these bubbles. If I can't find someone looking after the bubble will just disappear. That's the way it goes.
Are you saying that the CMDB could be a virtual CMDB and just point at the HR data in the service catalogue, or do you actually physically move the data into the CMDB?
That's the thing, right? I need information, for example, from network and system monitoring.
Yeah.
I don't want to put everything from these systems. I can have HP OpenView or whatever here. It's not interesting to have everything, but if you do, for example, what we call business service management, BSM, that means that the representation you have in the monitoring tool should be the same as you have in the CMDB for coherence, consistency. So if we have to make a link between these two, we have to make sure that we talk about the same thing and we have the same way of representing thing or understanding thing. We may have differences, that's fine, but at least we should have a mapping that we understand. Okay, the network people represent this way, and in the CMDB, we represent that another way, because the main consumer is change management for network.
But does the subset of data that you're interested in, does that have to move into the CMDB physically, or can it stay in the area which was originally created?
That's an interesting one, yes. There is two answers to this. One answer is, if the data is reliable in the tool, leave it in the tool and build a link, like, for example, if you have a product like Altiris, for example. Altiris is a PC discovery engine. The good thing about Altiris is that you can build a URL with one attribute, like a serial number, for example, and connect straight to the web page that describes this box, this serial number. Well, this is great. So if you can do that, you can store only serial number and the link, and that's it. When you go into this box, say, okay, press this button here and get the information coming from Altiris. Sounds nice, but remember, we are in an international company. We are dealing across the world. We have offshore people working on systems. So in terms of security, there is no way that everyone in the company who have access to the CMDB may have also access to Altiris. So in that case, sorry, it doesn't work for security reasons. And that's most of the time the limitation we find in large organizations, because you can't really authorize people to have access, even read-only access to everything. So in that case, if you can't have the link, then you have to bring back a certain number of attributes. How many, as usual, the minimum to fit your requirements from the people who are accessing the CMDB? When you look at inventory tool, in this case it's the BMC ADDM product, application and dependency mapping. That's a great tool. Probably one of the best on the market. That's for sure. But when you look at how much information it just brings back, it's incredible. And all this information is not understood by most people. So fortunately, it's organized in different layers. So you can probably concentrate on one layer and analyze this. For example, if you are an infrastructure or network specialist, you will be interested by this layer and not the rest. oppositely, if you're more in business side, an enterprise architect, you will be interested by the top layer, which is good. But this is in the tool. And as you say, I'm not going to take everything there and put back in my CMD. There's no point. Right? It's too much information. So you have to select the information, and again, you go back to your data model and define for each box I have in my data model, the simplified one, what attributes do I really want? Another example, you have another tool like this, which is pretty good, actually. It's quite simple. There's no many layers. It's quite clear. I start to understand that. Okay? I can see my services over there. I can see a dependency here, and there's too many levels, which I can understand. I know that Square Mile, they do asset gen. You can select and you can define exactly what you want to see as a representation of your model, which I think is great. So that's the kind of tool you should look for. However, there are some limitations to these tools. So they look nice on the marketing page. Now when you implement them, it's another story. It's not obvious, right? Why? For one is that most of these tools rely on the definition made by the DMTF, right? The Distributed Management Task Force. And the DMTF has developed several models and several standards. One was DMI, which is dead now. It's WMI, it's dead as well. WBM, MIB, and so on. Now we are talking about CIM.
Common Information Model.
Exactly. I've been dealing with them, I've been following them because, in fact, the MTF has been created in 1992. I started in asset management in 1993, so just after. I had the joy to understand and work with the MTF. And what I found is that every manufacturer has their own understanding of the norm, which is interesting. And in 1993, it was really hell, because when you look at different PCs coming from different manufacturers, they had their own way of representing the data, and as they all claim, I'm part of the DMTF, I'm compliant to DMI. But okay, when I look at serial number is there, but it's in different position. All of them will have their own understanding. The good thing is still valid. This tool only sees something which is connected to the network, obviously. They may have an agent, or they could be agentless, but they have no way to detect something which is not connected. You need to keep that in mind, because it's not obvious sometimes. And also, they don't really deal well with disconnected machines. That means machines which were at a certain time and which have gone. Take Landesk, for example. After 60 days, the record is just deleted from the database, destroyed. You won't find it again. So if you didn't pay attention, you will lose this information. Doesn't mean the PC has disappeared. Nothing disappears, right? It's probably somewhere in the company, in the code. But the system will say, sorry, I haven't seen this machine for 60 days, it doesn't exist. And another problem, which is normalization. So do everyone understand what normalization is? So normalization is to say, for example, I have an HP machine. No, I have a Hewlett-Packard machine. No, I have a Hewlett-Packard machine. And also I have Hewlett-Packard company. Right? So you find all that in your inventory tool, and so you have to deal with that. You have to consolidate this information somewhere, saying, no, everything is HP. And you have this most of the time. You can do normalization at several levels. It can be done at an inventory level, or it can be done at the interface. That means the system that will grab information from the inventory tool and bring to your CMDB. Or it could be done in your CMDB as well. But you have to understand where it's done, because it's critical for your accuracy. Because if you don't do that well, people asking for an HP machine will not typically understand that they need to do several requests, one for Hewlett-Packard, one for HP, or the H.P.dot, and so on and so on.